Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's story is something you definitely won't expect. A simple fence repair turns into a moment filled with mystery, old memories, and a surprising offer that changes everything. Before we get into it, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more amazing stories. All right, let's get started. When I saw her name flash on my phone that afternoon, I honestly thought it was a mistake. My ex's mother and I hadn't spoken since the breakup, and things ended on a quiet but uncomfortable note between our families. Still, something in me made me answer. Her voice came through soft and unusually polite, almost like we were still on good terms. She explained that a strong storm had knocked down part of her backyard fence, and she couldn't find anyone nearby to fix it quickly. Then she added, "I trust you more than strangers." That line stayed in my mind longer than it should have. After a short pause, I agreed to come, telling myself it was just a small favor and nothing emotional. When I reached her house in a quiet Ohio suburb, everything looked familiar but distant at the same time. The same porch, the same garden, even the same wind chime near the door. She welcomed me like nothing had changed, offering a polite smile and a glass of iced tea, as if I was still part of her life. That moment felt strange, almost like stepping into a memory I wasn't supposed to revisit. I tried to keep things simple and professional, but I could feel the weight of old connections sitting in the background. The fence damage was worse than she described. Several wooden panels had snapped completely, and a few posts were leaning dangerously. It wasn't a quick fix. It would take real effort and time. I started working anyway, tightening bolts, lifting broken sections, and measuring everything carefully. She stayed nearby most of the time, watching from the porch or walking slowly. Around the yard, every so often, she would ask small questions about my job, my routine, even my plans for the future. It didn't feel intrusive, but it also didn't feel random. Something about the way she spoke made the whole situation feel a little heavier than a normal repair job. By the time the sun started dropping lower in the sky, I was finally finishing the last section of the fence. My hands were sore, my shirt was slightly dusty, and I could feel that satisfying exhaustion that comes after doing physical work. I stepped back for a moment to check my alignment. Everything looked solid, straight, and properly reinforced. For a brief second, it felt like a normal job again, like nothing unusual had ever been attached to this day. I began packing my tools into the box, wiping off the last bit of dirt from my gloves, when I noticed her walking toward me. She wasn't in a rush. In fact, she moved slowly, almost like she'd been waiting for this exact moment. Her eyes were fixed on the fence, but her attention wasn't really on the wood or nails. It was on me. She stopped a few steps away and studied my work quietly for a few seconds before speaking. "You always were good with your hands," she said, her tone calm but carrying a strange weight of familiarity. I gave a small nod, not sure how to respond, and continued organizing my tools. That's when she stepped closer and looked at the fence again, then back at me. A faint smile appeared on her face, not too big, not too small, just enough to make the atmosphere feel different. She said I had done better than any professional she had hired before, and there was a kind of certainty in her voice that made it sound less like praise and more like evaluation. Then she leaned in slightly and added, "Finish it, and I'll make it worth your while." Her voice lowered just enough that it felt personal, not businesslike. For a moment, I didn't even react. I just stood there, trying to understand what she meant. It didn't sound like a normal payment discussion anymore. There was something layered in her tone, something intentional but unclear. My eyes shifted from her face to the envelope she placed nearby on the table without explanation. It wasn't moving, but it suddenly felt like the most important object in the yard. The air around us changed in a way I couldn't ignore. It wasn't loud or dramatic, just tense and heavy, like the conversation had crossed an invisible line. She didn't explain further, didn't clarify her words, and simply kept that steady smile, as if she already knew I was thinking too much. I held my tools a little tighter, unsure whether this was just about money or something I hadn't expected when I agreed to fix a broken fence.